Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rucha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And in this lesson, I'm going to go into an article here from ZeroHedge.com. And, pretty revealing, interesting article. Not so much for us, because we have been speaking on these things for some time now. But at least for those that did not want to believe it or are not aware. So this here is, as you can see in the headline, it says Mark Andreessen, let's see how we pronounce that name.
Mark Andreessen.
Yep, Mark Andreessen. So, it says here, Mark Andreessen describes alarming meeting with Biden admin that prompted his Trump endorsement. Pretty interesting stuff. So it says Mark Andreessen, the billionaire investor and co-founder of the influential Silicon Valley venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz, revealed in a new episode of Joe Rogan's podcast that after an quote-unquote alarming meeting with Biden administration officials earlier this year was the moment he would have no other choice but to support Donald Trump. For decades, Andreessen has supported Democrats, so on and so forth. However, a troubling spring meeting with Biden administration officials caused major concerns. Now, what we're about to read about this, it's important to keep in mind that the separation and the division on the, let's say, Biden admin, Trump admin, so on, right? They're not at the top of the pyramid. And as we know, even on the right side, if somebody starts climbing a pyramid from the opposite side as another individual, they both end up at the same top, right? So even if you have Biden on the far left or Trump on the far right, they both end up at the same top. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Meaning that these things are not exclusive to just the Biden administration, and you will not escape this just by saying, okay, we're going to endorse Trump and so on. So it says here, during the meeting, officials explained their plan to control AI through government regulatory capture, a strategic reminiscent of communist policies in China. We had meetings, Biden officials, this spring that were the most alarming meetings I've ever been in, where they were taking us through their plans, and it was basically just full government control, like this sort of thing. There will be a small number of large companies that will be completely regulated and controlled by the government, they told us, which is something we've been telling you, right? You have your Amazons and Walmarts and so on, right? That sort of push out, because they play such a major role. They push out all these other smaller companies, and now the same way they centralized, things that you get, right? A long time ago, once upon a time, you could go to your neighbor who is a farmer who, rears chicken, and then you can get eggs and chicken from them. You could go across the street to your other neighbor and get tomatoes and so on, and you can get your groceries that way. Today, it's not really much like that. In fact, they're giving farmers a very, very hard time trying to push them out so they can take up their land, they can plant GMO seeds, and then they can just centralize everything by having all of the products that you need, streamlined through some factory production and then packaged and brought to your grocery store, right? Or your one, major store, right? Where everybody really comes to get their things. So you become reliant on that, which gives them more control. In addition to that, like recently, there's been this trending information about the abuse. I think it's what's the name? Turkey ball. Let me see if that's the one. It says Butterball, turkey ball. Let me see. Let me just try Turkey Ball company. I think it's Butterball. Yeah, Butterball. There we go. So Butterball, well, as you can see it right here, it says here, PETA resurfaces video accusing Butterball of turkey abuse, causing confusion. What we know. So there's speculation. There's information out there that is saying here that there's this weird sexual abuse of turkeys, right, in these factories and warehouses before they're killed. Okay, it says here, people from the ethical treatment of animals resurfaced a 20-year-old video on Instagram last week that accuses Butterball employees of sexually abusing turkeys, and it's causing a stir online. See, so that's very weird as well. That's very weird. But this is some information going on here. So the point is, when things like this happen, you don't see it, right? Which is a part of the whole centralization thing. Like, this is just another step in the assembly line to get your food to you. So when you see this, where is it? Yeah, when you see this, you have no idea how it got here. You have no idea what they did to it. You have no insight as to how it's prepared, what's in it. All you see is this. Okay. So anyway, going back to the article, right, dealing with this small number of large companies that are government controlled and all the rest are pretty much pushed out. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's literally what they're talking about, what they're planning. And they've been planning this for a long time. And this is just another step in their ultimate agenda of their Internet of Bodies, Internet of Things, 15-minute cities, that kind of thing, that prison planet agenda. Okay. They said, don't even start startups. All right. Don't even start startups. There's just no way they can succeed. There's no way that we're going to permit that to happen. You hear that? So it's one thing on the outside, and then there's one thing behind the scenes, right? Real quick, going here to Micah 2:1, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. That's behind the scenes, right? When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. So they have the ability to do these things, pass these laws, regulations, and so on. And they plan behind the scenes what it's going to do, who it's going to affect, how they're going to bring it out, how they're going to play on the minds of the people to make the people want it by deceiving them. All of these things they do. In mid-July, Axios reported that Mark Andreessen and Ben Horowitz had donated to President-elect Trump's campaign. At the time, their support was attributed to Trump's pro-stance on crypto and AI regulation. Remember also Revelation 13, right, about how the lamb, right, the lamb had two horns, or spake as a lamb, or had the appearance of a lamb, I should say, but spake as a dragon. Don't forget that part in there. And what that means is, there's this appearance based on what is marketed, right? What is shown in the media, what is promoted, versus what actually ends up happening, whether it's in the short term or the long term. It's another telling example of how far left Democrats in the White House spooked Silicon Valley heavy hitters such as Elon Musk. Back to the podcast, Rogan asked Andreessen, when you leave a meeting like that, what do you do? Andreessen reported, you endorse Donald Trump. Now, if you've noticed as well, in recent years, right, this information warfare, right, that has become very prevalent because now podcasts, right, have more eyes than the mainstream media. And that is very dangerous for, some people, depending on if the organizers of the podcast are organic, genuine, regular individuals, or if they're agentors. But even still, so there's the image that's portrayed by agents, right? Because they play both sides, and then there's the actual organic case where you have average individuals. They build channels, they build platforms, and then they provide alternative news where you can speak freely without being censored and so on, that's becoming a problem because that is allowing more secrets to come to light and be exposed. And remember, perception is deception, meaning people act based on how they perceive things. And even if what they perceive is not what it actually is good enough to influence their actions and their thoughts. So you notice how this sort of defamation, maybe I'm not even use that word, but this lack of credibility of these mainstream media platforms has now pushed a lot more people towards, the social media, okay, to get that information. And yeah, it gives you more information, but it also can be a maybe like a single point of failure. I mean, if all your information is coming from there, you become dependent on it, then one day, I don't know, something happens and then these sites go down for whatever reason. Now there's this like information blackout almost, right? But yeah, it's just interesting to keep in mind, these subtle changes, right, that are happening and how far they're going to go. So anyway, Andreessen responded, "You endorse Trump." Ex-user Ben Averbook condensed Rogan's 3-hour podcast into a series of the most important highlights. Biden administration laid it all out. Only 2 to 3 AI companies would be allowed to exist, complete control over development. Now, what I'll do is I'll leave this link as a comment in this video so that you can access it and watch these short clips here. Okay, but YouTube is getting, a little weird with their reasonings for striking down your videos, and whether it's something in a short clip you play that they don't agree with, or it's the fact that the clip you're playing, they don't want you to, whatever it is. So better to be on the safer side. Andreessen told Rogan about the federal government's rogue, quote-unquote, Operation Choke Point. He described it as a move by the Department of Justice that initially targeted marijuana businesses and gun manufacturers. He said under Biden, it was then weaponized to destroy political opponents, tech founders, and the crypto community. They've uncovered a new way to destroy companies. 30 tech founders were secretly debanked. No warning, no explanation, no appeals. Pure, silent government power. It's not really going to stop now. It just looks like it's going to be a little bit better. But once again, that's just what it looks like. Rogan and Andreessen discussed the government workforce dilemma. The government workforce has been exposed. Half never returned to the office after the CVD. Some show up just one day a month, yet they still collect full DC level salaries. They also talked about this right here, right? This reduction of government workforce size, right, by the DOGE, right, Department of Government Efficiency. Interesting. As you can see here, a quote, right, you can work from home, just not for the federal government. They want you in person. Our national security is hanging by a thread. 90% of U.S. military drones are Chinese made. That's pretty interesting. Your apparent enemy, right, or one of your not so close allies, not allies per se, China, is where the majority of your military drones are made. You go and read about Chinese history and philosophy and understand how they operate, and you'll see why this is actually a pretty bad thing for the U.S. FAA regulations wiped out American manufacturers. Each drone has the potential to be a weapon or a spy platform. Exactly. They always put security measures, as you can call it, in there, right? So in case you want to get out of line, that benefit now turns to a detriment. They've already tested this level of control on our food system. The USDA promoted high fructose corn syrup everywhere, created the infamous upside-down food pyramid. Now they're aiming for the same dominance over tech, and particularly AI, artificial intelligence. And the rate at which it's going. It's almost like the next scientific breakthrough over here, and it's very depending in how they use it, it can be pretty I don't even know what word to use here, because there are certain things, whether it's like IRS or even now, some of these automated systems, when you call certain companies and the automated machine picks up, and it's like you have to say 10 times, speak to a representative or speak to an agent, and they still don't want to transfer you, until they finally do. But imagine there is no other representative or agent. You just have to deal with that, that technology. Whether it's understanding, misunderstanding, it doesn't matter. That's what you got. And that also makes things very airtight, because errors that humans miss, technology doesn't. And things that humans take long to do, technology doesn't, like microseconds, nanoseconds. So there's that. Silicon Valley is breaking under pressure. One side blindly follows every NYT narrative. The other sees the truth. We've split into two kinds of dinner parties. It's not going to be a party much longer. If you thought social media censorship was bad, AI control will be 1,000 times worse. It's going to be the control layer for everything. Your kids' education, your loans, your front door, literally, right? Wait till they start bringing these smart apartments where you're not given a key, right? You're given an ID, whether it's a card or an app on your phone, or maybe something inside of your implant, and that's how you get in, into the building. And then maybe you give access to those that you want to come, all that stuff. And at that point, if AI is controlling that, then they're quite literally controlling your front door. Right? First, Twitter files, YouTube files next. Pharma tells Joe Rogan that it's likely there will be a YouTube files. This new administration is probably going to carve all of this stuff open, right? And that's that grand exposing. Now, this is the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the Lord God, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, will do nothing, but he revealeth a secret unto his servants, the prophets. And a part of those secrets are also the secret things that are, coming down in these plans to these elites, right? And the Lord does that, he gives us the understanding of the scriptures, of course, primarily, but also by having these whistleblowers or these individuals who come and say something. The Lord also reveals to us, the things that are planned in secret and planned in darkness to be then executed upon the people. Now jump into Psalm 64, particularly in these two verses here. I think they capture the point very well. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. All of the look, when have you actually heard an insider come out and tell you a sincere, genuine insider, right? The things they found out, the secret meetings they heard, was actually for the benefit of the people. When has that ever been the case? It's always something that's scary or dangerous or deceptive or a bombshell, but it's never in a good light. Why? Because the things that they encourage themselves in behind the scenes, these elites, these ones who are planning these things, it's evil. It's not good. That's why all the secrets that come out are never about the benefit of the people. It's all about some lie that's uncovered. They commune of laying snares privily or privately. They say, who shall see them? See? So by saying we're going to eliminate these startups, we're going to have a few major government-controlled organizations so that we can control the people even more. All of these things are snares, traps, that to you, you're just thinking, oh, AI is making my life more convenient, but it's a trap. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart, meaning the mind, is deep. And it sure is. See, all this is really just scratching the surface of what kind of picture they really want to paint. So something to keep in mind as we go into the end of this year, into next year. We'll see what the Heavenly Father has planned for this place. But ultimately, man, it's not looking good. not for this society. So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying and informative to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rechak, Wadash, and until next time, Shalom.